this all of the things we will be covering. Why University of Hull and why London campus, what all courses we offer, entry requirements, compliance checks, and of course at the end, if there are any questions, you could let me know if you think that I have missed anything in the presentation. Right. So in terms of the University of Hull as rankings and the USPs, university, it's not, so London campus is new comparatively. We launched it last year. So we have successfully completed 4 intakes as of now. So it's kind of very well known in the market. However, it's still new. But the university itself is very, very old. It's one of the oldest universities in England. Statistically, 14th oldest university in England. In terms of the university's focus, it has always been the jobs or making students work ready during their studies. So after completion of the graduation or master's program with us, 98% of the international students within 6 months of their graduating, either they are studying further or they are working. So our main focus, it's always employability for the student. And we make sure that during their studies with us, they do have all of those opportunities and exposures wherein they could connect with the industry, they can network, and then at the end of the program, we do organize career fairs for them, wherein a lot of companies would participate, which makes students slightly easier to see where openings are, and then they could apply for the jobs, and becomes easier for them to get the job. To support this system, we also have dedicated careers and counseling team on the campus who helps students with their resume writing, their interview preparation, and all of those employment related queries or questions that student might have. This helps them into a bit of grooming overall. And of course, at the end, all of these things combined help them with the jobs. Teaching excellence wise, University of Hull has been rated gold in 2023 as per the teaching excellence framework, and we are now open in London campus as well. So it's all of this is available in London. In terms of the University of Hull's London campus USPs, I would say in my opinion, one of the best thing that we have in London campus is the student to lecturer ratio is very, very high. So in one class, we would not have more than 25 to 30 students. Of course, to accommodate the strength that we recruit, we have multiple classes for students, multiple batch. But in one class, there will not be more than 30 students, which means it is one of the smallest classroom sizes you would see in London, wherein for the professors, every student is kind of a name and not a number. This create a very close-knit community within the students, specifically those kind of students who are slightly introvert, or they're moving out of the country or away from their home for the first time. They don't know if they want to talk, they want to ask questions, and they're a bit shy basically. This helps them open up a lot, because after a few weeks, since there are only 25, 30 students in one class, all of them becomes friends, and then they are more confident and more open about their questions, and they kind of can get the most of their time in London. So that is one of the reasons why we do have this kind of smaller classroom sizes to help students get the most of it. All the professors, the dean, all are very, very accessible. You can also go to our website and look at the students' testimonial. Each and every students would have mentioned this has helped them a lot in kind of developing them overall as a person during the studies with us. In terms of the location, so we are located in Zone 1, Central London, right next to the British Museum. So the area is called Bloomsbury Square. We are going to be here for one more intake, which is May 25. From September, we will move slightly to this side of the city. I think Old Street and Liverpool Street Station, somewhere in between. And because it's very big campus that we have got there. So students would have more space compared to where we are at the moment. Okay, moving on to London. So I don't think we have to go in detail about why students choose London. London is like one of the best students city, and a majority of the students would want to have London life, or they want to have London as a study destination. So I would skip these 2 slides as of now. But yes, in terms of the programs, so as of now, we do offer 4 programs for May intake, And I do have one good news. We are going to open a couple of more programs for September intake. The programs we have is MSc Business Management, MSc Logistics and Supply Chain Management, MSc Digital Marketing and Advertising. These three programs, these are conversion programs. Any background students could apply for any of these three programs. The fourth one we have, it's MSc Artificial Intelligence and Data Science. Now we do market this as a conversion program, but in my opinion, this is partial conversion, if that makes sense. So students, even if they are not from the computer science or the similar background, they could still apply for this program. Having said that, they should have some sort of, I would say, mathematics, programming, or algebra, higher mathematics, probability, these kind of subjects they have studied in their bachelor's, or else they do have some sort of certification they have done apart from their degree, which is into programming, Python, any of those kind of languages. And if they prove that they have used Python and other languages during either their work experience or in certifications that they have done, we could accept them onto the program. All of those kind of profiles would then go to the director of our study center, and then he'll make a decision whether student will be accepted or not. These four programs: business management, logistics and digital marketing, artificial intelligence and data science. So this four program we offer in May intake. From September 25 onwards, we are going to add a couple of more programs. One confirmation we have today is that MSc Healthcare Leadership is now available for September intake. We will share a lot more information about for the program requirements, tuition fees and all that, but it will be in line with our general entry requirements itself. Another program we would add from September is engineering management, but as of now, we don't have 100% confirmation on this. As and when this is approved and up and running, we would share information with you. In terms of the programs, so all of the 4 or 5 programs we offer, they are all 1-year masters, full-time studies, and we have classes for 2 days a week. Timetable wise, it's 2 days a week classes. Those 2 days, it's morning till evening, full days classes, and students absolutely have to be in the class for those 2 days. If the attendance goes down, then I would say 75%, for consecutive 3 months, then they have to withdraw their study with us. So attendance is something that we take very, very seriously, because it is like flexible 2 days a week kind of arrangement that we have done. It's very easy for students to manage their other activities if they plan on engage in anything else apart from their studies. So for those 2 days, we expect students to be in the classes no matter what. We run 3 intakes for all of these programs: January, May, and September. Tuition fees for business programs, it's £17,000. Only the AI and data science, it is £18,000. Yeah. So AI and data science, it's £18,000. Healthcare leadership is also going to be £17,000. So only AI will be 18, rest all of the programs we offer are at £17,000. In terms of the requirements, so apart from AI and data science, all programs we offer, they're offered at 6, not less than 5.5 IELTS. AI and data science, it's 6.5, not less than 6. We do offer variety of English language tests, TOEFL, CTE, Oxford International, password tests, and all of these tests, home editions, are accepted as well. So TOEFL home edition, PTE online, or ELLD digital, all of those tests are accepted. Another requirement for PTE, we accept 59 overall, not less than 51. When requirement is 6 bands, for 6.5 bands, it's 61 overall with 54 in each module. We have option to waive IELTS. So for the state boards, if any student is from CBSE, ICSE, or Maharashtra State Board, and they have 70 to 75% in their 12th English, based on the IELTS requirement, we can waive their English language or IELTS. So if the requirement is 6 bands, we ask for 70% from CBSE, ICSE. If the requirement is 6.5, then they need 75% in their 12th English from CBSE, ICSE, and Maharashtra State Board. Other state boards we accept is Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, and Kerala State Board. So if IELTS requirement is 6 bands, then 75% in their 12th English. If the requirement is 6.5, then 80% in their 12th English from the state boards is what we ask for. We also have a list of MOI wherein we can waive IELTS. Very few universities for India at the moment, some from Bangladesh, Nepal, Sri Lanka. So from all of the regions, we have a list. However, for India, only those students who have studied in a university will be accepted, not the affiliated colleges. We are trying to work through Hull main campus for this, but as soon as we have more information or a bit more flexibility towards this, we would share the update. As of now, this is the requirement. UK equivalence, it's like 2:2. India, academics wise, 2:2 is what we ask for. For Indian bachelor's degree, either 3 or 4 years of bachelor, we ask for 50% or higher. For Nepal, we ask for 55% in their 4 years bachelor's. And for Sri Lanka, we again ask for a bachelor's degree, which is equivalent to 2:2. So something similar. Okay. We are also a bit flexible if the students are not meeting the standard entry requirements. So let's say if somebody does not have a 50% overall, or they're not meet for other countries, they don't have 2:2 UK equivalence, but they have a third class degree or second class lower division. In that case, if they have 3 years or higher of work experience, we can accept them onto the course, provided they have 3 years of good work experience. So they are slightly lower. Let's say they have 48, 49, 47%. But they do have 3 years of work experience, we can accept them onto the master's. Some students, wherein they don't have a bachelor's degree altogether, but they have done either a polytechnical diploma, they have done a higher national diploma, or they just have class 12th, but they do have really amazing work experience. 5 years or higher, 5 years or more of senior level experience is what we ask for. If they have that, we could accept that instead of a bachelor's degree, to accept them into the master's program. But all of these cases will be on a case-to-case basis. Again, we call this kind of profiles a borderline academics, and we refer all of these profiles to the dean of the study center. He checks the overall profile, their resume, their reference letters, and if once they approve, then only we could accept the students onto the course. This requirements works quite well for Sri Lanka because they don't really have there are a lot of students who might not have a traditional bachelor's degree, but then they would have some sort of diplomas, higher national diplomas, and they would always have some sort of work experience. So this could work quite well for Sri Lanka. Okay. In terms of the tuition fees breakdown of the scholarship. So for the May and September intake, this is the scholarship we are going to offer for all of the students. So we have decided to have to offer £2,000 automatic scholarship for all of the students once the offer is issued. And if any student is okay to pay the full tuition fees before their CAS, we would then offer additional £1,000 scholarship to them. So to make it a total £3,000 scholarship if they pay full tuition fees before CAS. Now, my recommendation is that because you recruit globally, all of the regions have decided on separate, I would say, criteria for scholarships. A lot of them are offering automatic £2,000. Some are offering £3,000 automatic scholarships as well for Southeast Asia, for example. If you need, I can share that list with you. And you can then make the promotions accordingly. What I'm sharing at the moment, in terms of the installment plan and the scholarship, this is for India, Sri Lanka, and Nepal. For the rest of the regions, if you need information, I can get that for you, because for, let's say, for example, for African countries, for Nigeria, we have a bit more flexible installment plans, provided the requirements of the market. So we do have market specific requirements when it comes to installments as well as the scholarships. Having said that, we ask students to pay £1,000 to book their interview. I will cover what all regions are mandatory to do the interview and what all regions are not. After the interview is done, students can pay another £3,350. So £4,350 is the requirement for the CAS. So it's like a pre-CAS deposit. They must pay minimum 4,350 to get the CAS. We always encourage students to pay at least 50% of the tuition fees, meaning £9,350, to make it easier for the enrollment process. Also, for the visa, chances become slightly better. But minimum deposit is still £4,350. Now, if you would have seen any offers, you would notice that apart from the tuition fees, we also have two different kind of fees mentioned in the offer. One is the registration fees, another is insurance. Registration fees is £350, insurance is £440. Registration fees is mandatory. All of the students must pay this. Insurance, on the other hand, it's optional. This is travel insurance. It's not a health insurance. If you want what all is covered within this insurance, I can share that. You might already have that in your emails somewhere, because with all of the registration packs, we do share information on what is covered in that insurance. But like I said, this is optional. If any students do not want the insurance, you could submit the acceptance form by ticking the right option in that, and we can remove the £440 insurance. Process wise, one more suggestion I would say, or a request I have, is whenever you receive any offer, and if the student have agreed to pay the deposit or they have already paid the deposit, you should always submit the acceptance form immediately, because you just need to confirm one thing, whether the student needs insurance or not. It is one of the conditions I have noticed in the last few intakes that is going on until the end. When we issue the CAS, even at that point, we are following up for the for this one particular form that student needs to fill, like sign, like acceptance form, which is, it is very basic condition, very easy for you guys to meet. So that is like one of my suggestions, that if you can meet that one condition as soon as the students have made the payment, it becomes very easy, and we would know whether we need to consider this £440 in the overall calculation or not. Okay, apart from this, installment wise, if the students, they have only paid about £4,350 to get their CAS, they need to pay another £5,000, which is 50% of the total tuition fees at the time of enrollment. And the remaining 50% they have to pay at the end of the first term. And any scholarships that has been awarded to them, it will be deducted in the last installment. So bursaries will be added in the last installment. Only if the student is paying the full tuition fees, they should deduct the £3,000 and then pay the remaining 14,350 or 15,350, depending upon the program. Otherwise, any other scholarship like £2,000, £1,000, all of them will be deducted from their last installment. Okay. Moving on to the compliance checks. Now, in terms of the compliance checks, these are the regions where compliance interview is mandatory. So for India, it is Jammu Kashmir, Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Rajasthan, and 3 cities in Gujarat, Nadia, Kheda, and Anand. These are the regions in India wherein compliance interview is mandatory. Chandigarh is considered union territory. So if the student have a passport from Chandigarh wherein the address is Chandigarh and they have studied completely in Chandigarh, they would not be subject to compliance interview. All of the students from Nepal are also subject to compliance interview, whereas from Sri Lanka, students don't have to do the compliance interview. They are considered low-risk students for HAL. For Pakistan, these are the regions: Azad Jammu Kashmir, Mandi, Hafizabad. Half of this I can't even pronounce, but you can read through this. So Peshawar, Mardan, Balochistan, Waziristan, all of these regions, the students have to do the compliance interview with our compliance team. Sylhet, for Bangladesh, I would say all of the students have to do the compliance interview. And they have to pay £4,000 to book the interview. The £1,000 is only, I would say, for India and Nepal, wherein we have given this flexibility that they could pay minimum deposit, because those students are not that high risk. We know that even after interview, they are going to make further deposit payment. Whereas for Bangladesh, it is slightly difficult or different situation. For Nigeria, only Benin County or Benin is subject to compliance interview. Rest, all of the regions, they don't have to do compliance interview. Now, in terms of the regional interviews, majority of so earlier we used to do regional interview for all of the students. For India's particularly, we have stopped doing that, because you are preparing your students. They already go through a lot of interview process with you. And then again, if they have to take 2 interviews with us, it becomes process slightly lengthier. So moving on, we are not going to do any sort of mock interviews for your students particularly. However, if you want us to do any 1 or 2 students, we will do that. Then that's not a problem, but we will still give them a call instead of scheduling like the team's interview to make process slightly faster, because we have noticed that after payment, to get the CAS, students have to do a lot of things and it delays the whole process if we do 2 interviews. Apart from the regions, any students, if they have more than 10 years of study gap, they also are subject to compliance interview. Less than 10 years of study gap, and if they're not from any of these regions, they don't have any sort of interview, not the regional interview, not the compliance interview, so no interviews at all. It is solely your responsibility to prepare the students in case if they get the UKVI interview. So prepare the students in case if you, need help for any of your students from us, we would be happy to support, but it's not part of the process anymore. It's not a requirement anymore. Other regions, maybe Pakistan, Nigeria, they might still do regional interview. So again, if there are any questions, I could collate those questions, or you could use the group and ask the questions to them. But as far as the rest of the regions are concerned, we will not be doing the regional interview thing to save some time. Application process is that you need to submit the application using partner portal, which you're already doing. Try to submit as many documents as they are available to you, and make sure you submit or you use the right email ID of the student. You mention the full address of the student, because otherwise it becomes one of the conditions in their offer, and we try to avoid as many conditions as possible. So make sure all of the fields in the partner portal are submitted properly, specifically the immigration history of the student. A lot of times it has happened that students, whilst submitting application, it is not disclosed that students have any sort of immigration history, whereas after the offer letter, we have come to know whether the student has studied in the UK before, or they have the visa refusal from Canada, or so on and so forth. So it's always important that you disclose this information at the time of application, so we can mention the right kind of conditions whilst issuing the offer, and we also take right approvals so that the students exactly know whether they are eligible to move forward with the process or they're not. Mandatory documents, I would say, is SOP, the CV, if they have any sort of work experience. And if they have, of course, work experience, we also need a reference letter from their employer. We do not need a reference letter from academics or from their college and school. So you don't have to submit them. The reference letter is mandatory only if they have work experience. And if they do in fact have work experience, the reference letter we need is from their last employer or the employer that they have been with for the longest. English language evidence, either IELTS, TOEFL, PT, or anything that they have available. Academic documents means that the provisional degree certificate or their final degree certificate, and semester-wise mark sheets along with the consolidated mark sheets, whatever is available, their 10th and their class 12th certificate. Once all of these documents are submitted, you have the offer within 2 to 3 working days. After the offer, do check the conditions and submit the acceptance form like I requested before. After that, if the student decides to move forward and they do have a compliance interview condition, if they are from any of these high-risk regions, they pay £1,000 to do the interview. If they don't have a compliance interview condition, my recommendation is that they pay minimum cash deposit that they are going to pay because there is no interview. Then they submit the financial documents and any other documents or any other conditions as per their offer letter. Once all of these conditions are met, the financials are approved from our end. We then issue the draft CAS. Once the draft CAS is confirmed from either the student or yourself, we can then issue the final CAS. In terms of the visa questionnaire, it is only required if the students have any sort of immigration history. It is not part of the document checklist, so you don't have to submit it for all of the students, but only if somebody is having any sort of visa issues, or you could say they have visa refusals, they have studied in the UK before, so any sort of immigration history if they have, we ask for the visa questionnaire. But we will ask for this on a case-to-case basis. Only submit it if it is asked. Otherwise, there is no need to submit the visa application, the visa questionnaire. Accommodation options, we do have these 4 houses of accommodation option available. It is not mandatory for students to stay here, but in case if they need any help finding accommodation closer to the campus, we could help them. These are the key dates and deadlines for May intake. And this time we are not going to extend it. So make sure the students meet all of these deadlines on time. 2nd of June is the course start date. We will accept applications until 2nd May. 9th of May would be the deposit deadline. 16th of May, student needs to meet all of the conditions. From your end, student should have submitted all of the documents by this deadline, including the financial evidence. And once that is done, we will issue the CAS until 23rd of May. And then students would have enough time to arrive and enroll onto the program on time. Okay.